I felt like our defensive energy, physicality, disruptiveness was better. We made it more difficult for them, moving the ball around the perimeter. We executed better in our ball screen defense.
The Indiana Fever went from being embarrassed on their home court to pulling off one of the most satisfying revenge wins of the season. Just 2 days after heartbreaking 1-point loss to the Atlanta Dream, the Fever responded with grit, toughness, and a new sense of urgency that proved they're not the same team as before. That May 20th loss at Gainbridge Fieldhouse wasn't just any defeat, it was the kind that exposed every flaw. The Fever were outmuscled, outscored in the paint, and simply outplayed. They allowed 91 points, couldn't contain the Dream's size, and lost control of the game at the free throw line. Brittney Griner dominated with 21 points, and Ryan Howard added 20, tearing through Indiana's defense. The Dream shot 32 free throws to Indiana's 26 and capitalized on the Fever's foul trouble. The result? A gut punch loss that had fans and players alike frustrated. But while most people saw a team crumble, the Fever were quietly studying. Head coach Stephanie White and her staff didn't just accept the loss. They treated it like a blueprint for how to beat Atlanta. White admitted they didn't match up well with the Dream, acknowledging the size and skill difference, especially with players like Griner and Howard. But the Fever didn't back down. They regrouped. They re-watched film. They identified the cracks and came up with a new game plan designed to flip the narrative. And that's exactly what happened in Atlanta on May 22nd. When the Fever hit the court for the rematch, they looked like a completely different team. They brought the fight right to Atlanta's doorstep and flipped the script completely. They outscored the Dream 46-20 in the paint after being dominated in that area just 2 nights earlier. The defense that had been flat and ineffective suddenly turned aggressive and disruptive. The Fever were no longer playing on their heels. They came out swinging. They rotated faster, closed off passing lanes, and brought unexpected help defense from odd angles that threw the Dream off balance. The game plan was chaos, but controlled chaos, and it worked. Brittney Griner, who had been unstoppable in Game 1, was held to just 5 points before fouling out with 3 minutes left in the game. It marked the second time this season she'd fouled out against the Fever. She never got into rhythm, and every touch became a physical battle. Indiana's strategy was clear. Make Griner work for everything. Whether it was double teams from strange angles, quick help in the post, or just hard-nosed fouling when necessary, the Fever made it ugly. And that's exactly what championship teams do. Caitlyn Clark, meanwhile, had one of the worst shooting nights of her career. She went to 0 for 5 from three-point range, the first time since January 2022 that she didn't make a single three in a game. She finished with just 11 points and 5 fouls, limiting her minutes and effectiveness. And yet, the Fever didn't just survive, they thrived. Clark's rough night didn't matter because this team wasn't built around one star anymore. Multiple players stepped up when she struggled, proving that the Fever have real depth and resilience. Natasha Howard was the standout. She had 26 points on 12 of 17 shooting, dominating the second half with 18 points.
Fever dub! Woo! Woo! Fever! Good dub. Ugly, but we found a way to win. Woo!
Including 13 in the third quarter alone. She took over when the team needed a scoring lift, showing exactly why she was brought in to support the Fever's young core. Her energy, confidence, and finishing ability gave Indiana a reliable option when the usual stars were quiet. A year ago, that wouldn't have been the case. This time, Howard carried the offense when it mattered most. Sophie Cunningham also made her return from an ankle injury, and brought immediate fire. In just 20 minutes, she scored 9 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, and hit her first 3 of the season. She was the spark behind an 11-0 run that helped the Fever retake the lead. Her hustle went beyond the box score, drawing charges, fighting for rebounds, and lifting the team's intensity. Lexie Hall added another strong performance off the bench with 10 points and a career high, tying 4 assists. Together, Cunningham and Hall gave the Fever something few teams in the WNBA have right now, an elite bench duo that brings both offense and energy. This improved bench depth was one of the most noticeable differences from Game 1. The Fever's reserves outscored Atlanta's bench by 16 points. That's a massive turnaround from 2 days earlier, when the Dream's depth looked far superior. The defense got tighter. The energy went up. The Fever started playing with playoff intensity, the kind of edge championship teams need. Clark's leadership went beyond scoring. She made smart passes late in the game, including a critical one to Aaliyah Boston that helped seal the win. When the Dream pressured, Clark didn't fold. She directed traffic, drew defenders, and made the right decisions. Defensively, Indiana made smart adjustments that neutralized Atlanta's strengths. Coach White rotated her bigs in and out to keep fresh bodies on Griner, including Damiris Dantas, who was physical and relentless. White even used Dantas in strategic subs, putting her in when Griner came in and pulling her when Griner sat. Every possession became a grind for Atlanta. Every look at the basket came with a price. The Dream went from scoring 91 points to just 76 on their home court. That's what smart, physical defense looks like. With 3 minutes left, the Fever were down 75-71, but they didn't panic. They closed on a 10-1 run and left Atlanta with an 8,176 victory. They didn't just win. They won ugly. They won tough. And they showed the kind of composure that separates contenders.
Yes, this stinks. We want to win this game. But, I think this is great for our team. A little adversity. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film and learn and get on the court and get better?
From pretenders. This game wasn't about a superstar carrying a team. It was about a team carrying each other. When Clark struggled, Howard stepped up. When Boston got in foul trouble, Dantas held her ground. When the starters needed a lift, Hall and Cunningham brought the spark. Everyone played their role. Everyone mattered. And in the final minute, Coach White trusted her bench. She subbed in Sophie and Lexie to press full court. Even with just a 3-point lead, that decision paid off. The Fever forced bad passes, disrupted the Dream's flow, and shut the door on the comeback. Even Sydney Coulson, who hadn't played all game, got thrown into the final possessions for her defensive awareness. That's how deep this team is. They can go 11 players deep and still find someone to contribute when it matters most. That's not just a luxury. That's how you win championships. This win was more than just redemption. It was a message. The Fever are not here to be pushed around. They're not here to ride one player's coattails. They are a complete tough, deep and resilient team that learns from losses and responds like champions. They fought back from being outclassed at home, studied their mistakes, and came into a hostile arena with one goal: make Atlanta pay. And they did. Even with Clark's rough night, she found ways to lead her words to Howard. "I'm not scared of you were more than just trash talk." They were a declaration. This team is no longer scared of the moment. They're not scared of bigger opponents, and they're definitely not scared of adversity. The Indiana Fever proved in one intense, emotional, physical game that they belong among the league's elite. They can win when it's pretty, and they can win when it's gritty. That's what great teams do, and the Fever just proved they're becoming one. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.